Hello to everybody watching and listening, and welcome to what, in my opinion, is the single best match of Mechabellum that I have played in the, let me actually check on Steam, 191.3 hours of, having the game opened. I am playing against an absolute gentleman, KZA here, and we are both opening up with Stormcallers, but I did not expect this formation. Yeah. Aggressive Stormcaller pressure on both towers with crawler support, going into some arc lights, of course, that he started with to deal with my crawlers. I'm positioning my crawlers this way because I had some testing with crawler positionings in order to get good positions against Stormcallers. And I'm thinking what to do. I don't really like to go into fangs, not more chaff, so let's just go into air, I guess. So I'm dropping a couple of wasps. First turn, and if I recall correctly, my opponent's words here were surprise. I was surprised, in all fairness. Fortunately, these towers don't lose enough health to go down. Let's actually go to the cinematic camera. And of course, this is going to be a win for me, simply because, well, wasps. Both towers go down at the same time, so let's just speed this one up. Not exactly exciting what happens here. Everything I have on the ground dies, and then everything he has dies. First round of reinforcements here. I'm looking at my options and I'm not particularly liking much, but I'm thinking, you know what, how about let's go for a Scorpion. And my opponent, I'm not even sure what he picked up. He picked up the Marksman, okay, yeah. Ah yeah, now I remember. Now I do remember. I'm thinking, you know, that's not really anything here that is particularly good against these rhinos. And he may go for a rhino himself, so how about I just put this thing here and try to push the Arclight, try to push the Stormcallers. And yeah, I had no idea the Marksman would be there as well. He does have Assault mode. Though, of course, at this point I have no way of knowing. I'm just getting some more chaff, simply to fill out the board. And my opponent is actually going for some chaff of his own. But in my flank, that is. Now I put chaff in front because I do in fact want the chaff to distract fire from the towers. That is an absolute necessity this turn. My opponent used a mass recruitment, and yeah, now I'm looking at my flanks and there's nothing here. Now most of the crawlers are going to the side and some are still pushing ahead. This is exactly what this formation is supposed to do. It's supposed to have the maximum amount of crawlers going for the side while still splitting in the tower area normally, and assuming nothing gets pushed. This rhino, by the way, did an absolutely amazing job pushing everything here. And my crawlers actually still won. So I guess that also confirms that with this formation, the crawlers that will split off are actually still strong enough and numerous enough to beat some crawlers that are coming in, at least if they are cost control. That is probably the deciding factor here. My opponent went for cost control, I didn't even mention that. I was going for area specialist, and that is probably part of the reason why these wasps are pretty freaking amazing. Because they are just taking out everything. And this turn I even have some crawlers surviving. Next turn. There's Wasp Swarm being offered. Mass-produced Scorpions though. I'm looking at the board, I'm seeing his Marksman, I'm noticing the Assault mode, and I know that Scorpions can really tear up Assault Marksmen if they have the ability to get in shooting. Well, not really shooting ranged. Ranged usually isn't the issue with Scorpions, but if they have the chaff clear up front. I've been trying some... I've really been trying some plays. Going for Mustang and Scorpion, and it hasn't really been that successful. It does not appear to be as powerful as just good old Phoenix Vulcan, but it certainly is an alternative and a viable alternative. My opponent is putting a missile here, probably to defend against the Rhino if I didn't sell it, but I sold it. He's putting some Wasps here as additional anti-air, I guess. And I'm putting some Scorpions on the board because they have a decent amount HP. They don't cost that much right now. And my opponent's units are only cost control, so will it really hurt much? Then there's also these flanks to address. I'm not sure if I'm actually doing anything because these crawlers are still going to probably win. And there's... ah yeah, I put some Wasps here as well. So now I should be able to hold these flanks no matter how many more crawlers he puts there. Well, no, that would be a lie. But in this current state, I'm no longer afraid. So, the Scorpions did take out some good targets. Unfortunately, now they are stuck on chaff. However, they are holding out long enough for my Wasps to return, my Crawlers to return. I also got Subterranean because it's good against these Arc Lights. That Arc Light dies. The Wasps are still stuck on some Crawlers. The Marksmen not faring any better. And yeah, I have more Wasps pushing in. There is a couple of Marksmen left, but it's not very many. I even have some Stormcrawlers left as my tower on the left goes down. There's some opposing Wasps, but really, this Marksman is locked onto by this Stormcrawler. That all goes down. Everything I have on the ground goes down. But, of course, there's a couple of super annoying Wasps. And I think my opponent was... I have no idea why he was avoiding so much, going into just 1 or 2 packs of Mustangs, but I guess he did. So, next turn. And we will see what happens here. My opponent goes for Missile Strike. I go for the additional armor, putting it on this Scorpion to help it survive a little better. Because, well, that's what I want right now. My opponent is putting a missile onto these Wasps here. But it's not that good of a missile because these Wasps are faster. I never really realized this, but since you can't put the missile any further towards the rear, putting your Wasps to the very rear, if they are pulled to either side, they actually have a... like they're hitting the, they can only be hit by this area of the missile instead of like this area of the missile, which is wider. Not sure how much difference that makes, but I guess it does make some difference. He's going for range on the arc lights. I did not notice he was going for carry arc lights, but he clearly is. Meanwhile, I'm just dropping the Scorpions. I'm putting more Scorpions down, trying to counter the arc lights, trying to counter everything because I want HP on the field. Oops, that might be a little too fast. So the arc lights now actually outrange the Scorpions, which is a bit annoying, but the Scorpions have too much health to simply get destroyed just like that. Unfortunate double shooting on those Scorpions. But they are definitely putting in some work, despite only being mass-produced ones. Now this might look familiar. My opponent still has a lot of stuff left. He's pushing on my tower, especially on this tower. But I have some Scorpions left over in addition to some Wasps this time. They are getting this tower fairly easily. Now there's not that much use out of the tower, and he will momentarily probably get the other one if the Marksman locks on. Okay, the Marksman is distracted. There's another force moving in here. I guess the Arclight alone was enough to do that. Even under the tower debuff, Arclight still goes down. Marksman can dodge all of this. And that is the round. And once again, the Wasps pushing for the tower in addition to the Crawlers, they are really putting a lot of work in for me. I'm looking at these options and none of them really strike me as particularly amazing other than the Mustang. Because, well, Scorpion Mustang. Maybe it's good. My opponent sees the Hacker. Yeah, here it is. He drops a Hacker and he's trying to reinforce his left flank from his view. It's the left flank. From my view, it's the right one. I'm leveling some of these Scorpions. The Hacker actually was not on my mind. I'm looking at the charge shot, and yeah, I guess that is the first moment like, even at this moment, I did not realize that I was playing against carry arc lights. I'm sorry, guys. It is actually just before 2:30 in the morning. And I just played the game like maybe 15 minutes ago or something like that. It ended. Yeah. I actually quick resupplied simply to get some more ranged Mustangs out, which did not turn out to be the greatest of choice. Let's just say it like that. There is a Scorpion here, which gets a shot off on the Arclight, and then, of course, the Scorpion betrays everyone and everything. Fortunately, the other Scorpion still gets a shot off, so this Scorpion is pretty low. And overall, the hacker did achieve something, but whether or not it was worth it is another question. Whether or not my super amazing Mustangs here were worth it against carry Arclights is another matter. Now, this is getting pushed, tower gets destroyed, some Stormcrawlers are left over, so my opponent really does not get much out of that tower. There is, however, one Stormcrawler here that the enemy hacker still converted before going down. I think it went down to the Wasps. And now there is one single marksman to hold off like an almost intact pack of Wasps. Not going to go well, let's just skip ahead. And the final missiles take down the last ground unit, and once again it's these hero Wasps who are surviving. Every time. My opponent still doesn't have any Mustangs. What does he have against Mustangs? Or maybe just some Fangs here.